We're live from the HCCTV studios this morning. I'm Todd Duplantis. Welcome to Up to the Minute, 23rd of February. Hard to believe we are almost through with this month. It's almost gone, which means we're 1 week closer to spring break. That's the important thing though, right? Hey, thanks for joining us on the show this morning. We are live just about every weekday morning on Facebook Live and YouTube. And you can always catch our rebroadcast on HCC TV at noon, 5, and now 10 p.m. for your viewing pleasure. Let's get into the show. We got a couple of great guests, but first, my co-host this morning, Dr. Tony Reyes-Sutherland. Tony, good to see you.
Good to see you. You know, Mardi Gras is coming up. I think it's next week, in fact. So,
that you brought up a very important point, and I think Galveston had it last weekend. They've also got it again this weekend. And then Fat Tuesday is next Tuesday. So, we may just have to head on down to New Orleans and do a live shot. You think they'd let us get away with that here? Maybe. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we have I think we have a live shot in our future from New Orleans.
I think we do. Yes.
We'll see what we
How to get my beads ready and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Well, we'll try our best for you. In the meantime, though, we've got a great show lined up for you today. We've got 2 special guests. We'll get to those in a moment. But Tony, if they don't catch us live in the morning or on HCC TV, you can always watch the show on our social media channels.
Yes, just look for Houston Community College District, not just HCC, because there's a lot of others out there, but Houston Community College District, and look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, and any place else on social media pretty much. Look us up and follow us.
All right. Thanks, Tony. Stick around because you'll be speaking with this next guest. We've got Eleanor Barton. She's the curator at the Lone Star Flight Museum in the Bessie Coleman Hall of Fame. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Good to be with you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing all about this story, I guess, behind Bessie Coleman. Maybe you can tell us about that. So we'll check in with you in about 10 minutes.
Sure. Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, Eleanor. Stand by. Right now, we're going to kick things off. Tomorrow we've got our Black History Scholarship Gala. You can watch it on ABC 13 social media. Also check it out in our social media. And right now from the committee, we've got our Director of Communications out at the Central College. We're talking about Debra McGaughey joining us. Debra, good to see you.
Oh, good to see you guys. Lovely to be here. Thank you.
And you've got a big event going on tomorrow. Now, this, I believe, is the second year you're doing this remotely or virtually, I should say. But this year, you've got some special partners joining you for the gala.
Yes, we do. This is our second year doing it online. COVID forced us to have to do it that way, but it's our 17th year, which is very important to note. And, we've got ABC 13. We've got abc13.com as our partner, and that is fantastic. We love working with our media partners. They help us get the word out, and most importantly, they help us get scholarship funds, which is what we're here to do. Scholarship funds for really good HCC students.
Absolutely. And that's really the whole point on why we're doing this event. And we want everyone to donate tomorrow. It's very easy to do. You mentioned abc13.com. Tell people the time it's going to be on, where they can find it exactly, and how you can donate. Okay.
So when you go to your browser, just type in abc13.com. That will bring you to their website. It'll be a section off to the side. It'll say watch live. And you go there and you'll click it at 7 o'clock. So Thursday, 7 o'clock, February 24th. That's where you need to be, is to go to abc13.com and look at the live stream. They've got a 24/7 streaming platform. So It's there on their website. You can get it on your app. They've got so many venues now, and we're going to be on all of them. So that's where you need to go. Now, if you want to donate a little early, which is always good, we always like that, we work with the HCC Foundation. So you go to hccsfoundation.org, because they're a little separate entity, hccsfoundation.org/BHC, Black History Committee. Boom, you get right there. You can make your donation today.
Debra, you mentioned this is the 17th year. Tell us a little bit about the history of the gala.
Well, Black history has been celebrated at HCC since, HCC began. Back in the 80s, it was held at the Power Center, and it was a smaller event, but very festive, very African dress wearing, crowd. In 2006, though, we had some board trustees and the late Dr. William Harmon, who decided, well, let's take this up another level. Let's do something a little different. Let's have it at a really nice place and bring in a great speaker. And so from 2006 on, we've had, Spike Lee, and we've had Clarence Page, and we've had Terrence Howard, and we've had Vanessa Williams, and we've had Reverend Al Sharpton and Reverend Jesse Jackson. I mean, we've brought some really good people to the gala, and that was the mission, is to not only raise scholarship funds, but to explore and show Black excellence, African-American excellence. And that was a big dream of the guy I used to work with and miss very deeply, Dr. William Harmon, who was the president at Central, and he was the chair of the Black History Committee.
I was going to ask you about Dr. Harmon, because I know you worked with him very closely for a number of years, and he meant a big part to this college. Maybe you can tell us, I understand we're going to be having some members of his family join us.
Yes, they are going to be part of the scholarship gala, and really excitingly, they're going to start a scholarship in his name, in his honor. And so that's going to be part of the Black History Scholarship legacy from this event tomorrow onward. Dr. Harmon, what can I say? He was the president of Central from 2005 to 2016, 11 years. And in those 11 years, I got a list here of the things that took place under his watch and under his administration. The Learning Hub, that curved glass building that everybody at Central knows about it. It's in Midtown. It's right next to the San Jacinto Memorial Building. That came to be under his leadership. He wanted it to be a science building. He's a science biology major, and he wanted that science core being there. The Memorial Green, that big grassy area in the front, he went to the University of Virginia. He was a senior administrator there. Anybody seen UVA? UVA is spectacular. It is a gorgeous campus, and he wanted a piece of that. He wanted that campus feeling. So he got rid of the parking lots and made it green. And no one parks in front of the Sandjack anymore. It's not like it's just a throwaway building. It's a historic area. The grass is green. It's beautiful. That was his idea. He encouraged the VAST Academy, which is our academy for special needs students who want to learn occupational skills. He housed that at Central. He encouraged that. He fostered that. The Culinary Arts Building, we just opened that. I know y'all have done many a story there. Culinary Arts happened under Dr. Harmon. He wanted it to come back to the campus. The Honors College started at Central under his watch. Now it's all over HCC. And finally, the Learning Emporium. We have a big area in the San Jacinto building that's a big computer room. And it's not just like a place where you can go and apply and all of that. It's where you can get good tutoring, where you can learn, where you can study with colleagues. You have study rooms. A new idea. It's been replicated again throughout the district. All of that under his watch. He was a great leader. And the community loved him.
The community loved him. We certainly miss him here at HCC. Debra, before you go, I know there's another event coming up. Of course, the Black History Gala is tomorrow. But following the Scholarship Gala, there's another event on the 25th that's coming up as well.
We have so much going on now. I think we're really starting to get back to the campus life and programming events. Friday, 9 a.m., do y'all want to know about the history of Sunnyside and Third Ward? We're going to tell you. We're having 2 Zoom online discussions about the history of Sunnyside and the history of Third Ward. We're doing that at the urgency and the request of Dr. Mudassir Siddiqui. Now, he is the current president of Central. He knew Dr. Harmon, and Dr. Harmon basically passed the baton to Dr. Siddiqui. And because of that, he is celebrating Black History Month in a unique way. He wants to delve into the history of 2 communities that we serve. Central serves Sunnyside in Southeast Houston. We have a South Campus off of 288. And of course, the Central Campus, which is on the borderline. It's in Midtown now, but we share that with Third Ward. So we're going to have panel discussions. So go to the Central Facebook page. We've got it listed several ways. Register there, and then it will give you the link where you can watch it and be a part of it. And that's Friday, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. The Sunnyside one is at 9 a.m. and the Third Ward discussion is at 11.
And if you'd like to attend either of those discussions, and we'll also have information on the Black History Gala, the Scholarship Gala, in our social media post after the show. So just check that and it'll lead you to those events. Debra, we appreciate you being here. I know you've got a busy day planned and tomorrow is the big event. We wish you continued success with the Scholarship Gala, and we'll all be watching.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Thank you all. Good to see you.
All right. Thanks, Debra. I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Tony, and you've got a special guest taking us out to the Lone Star Flight Museum, Tony.
Yes, one of my favorite places. I love aviation. This is Eleanor Barton. She's the curator for the Lone Star Flight Museum. And welcome to the show, Eleanor. Real glad to have you here.
Thanks. Great to be with you.
And I see you have a neat picture behind you. It is of Bessie Coleman, who is in the Texas Aviation Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, that's right. She's quite a legend in aviation history and Texas history.
Yes, I read some things about her, and she's just fascinating. I mean, one of the most fascinating things about her is that she was the first female pilot, not only African-American, but first female pilot, even before Amelia Earhart, who's the one that we all think about. Is that right?
That's right. Bessie Coleman was actually the first female licensed pilot in the state of Texas 2 years before Amelia Earhart received her pilot's license. And Coleman was also the first person of color in the world to receive her international pilot's license, and that was in 1921. So she's really quite a person of distinction.
It's wonderful. And, you know, I understand that she got interested in piloting because of her brothers, right? Her brothers were in World War I.
That's right. So her brothers both served during the First World War. And at that time, Bessie was living in Chicago. She was working as a manicurist in a beauty salon. So she did not start out as an aviation enthusiast. But after hearing her brother's stories, who served in World War I, about these aerial daredevils and these pilots that did amazing things, and about even women flying in France when they were there, she got really excited about that opportunity, and against much adversity, pursued her dream of learning how to fly and getting her license. It's really an incredible story.
I know, and she tried in the United States to get a license and all that, but because of segregation, because she was a female, she couldn't learn, but she had to go all the way to France to do that, right?
That's right. It's really amazing to think about now. But at the time, when she was in Chicago and she was interested in flying, she went to various schools, and there were no instructors who were willing to teach either a woman or a person of color. So she was absolutely not going to be able to pursue her dream here in the United States. She befriended a publisher, Robert Abbott, who published an African-American newspaper in Chicago, the Chicago Defender. They became friends, and he saw the potential in Bessie Coleman's dream and actually financed her travel to Europe to go to France to study. There were in France at the time, this was in 1921, there were flight schools that were willing to accept both women and people of color. And so she was able to receive her training in France. It took her 7 months to get her pilot's license, but she did receive that in June of 1921. And then returned to the United States as the first person of color to have her international pilot's license.
And she became very famous. She had a lot of nicknames and things because she loved to do that, what they call the loop-to-loop and the shape of 8 in an airplane. She was not just a pilot. She was, what do you call them? She did tricks and things like that with the plane.
Right. So not only did she know how to fly planes, but she did aerial stunts. She was a parachutist. So she would parachute out of planes. She would get out and walk on the wings of the plane, do all sorts of stunts, and of course, fly loops and do sorts of tricks. This was the era of barnstormers, and these were people who would travel a circuit around the United States in large open fields and do basically air shows with all sorts of stunts. And by today's standards, the safety, people didn't have the safety concerns that we do now. These were certainly very, very brave and daring people. But Brave Bessie was one of her nicknames, Queen Bess. She was very beloved by fans who would come to watch the air shows.
Yeah, it was a whole lot more dangerous to fly a plane then than it is now. We don't have the safety measures. And I know that she had an accident earlier, but she recovered from that. But then after that, she had another accident. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Sure. So tragically, in 1926, when she was getting ready for an air show that she was doing in Orlando, Florida, she was actually riding in the plane. Her mechanic was piloting the plane, and they were out searching for spots that she was going to parachute out for the show the following day. So they were sort of scouting locations in the aircraft, and the aircraft malfunctioned at 500 feet above the ground. It started to nosedive, and unfortunately, she was not buckled into the plane. Because she needed to be able to look out over the side while they were looking for locations. And she also wasn't wearing a parachute at the time. So she actually was thrown from the airplane. The pilot crashed with the airplane and they both died upon impact. So it was very, very tragic, and people mourned her death. She was taken back to Chicago. Many thousands of people attended her funeral services there, but she had a very short career, just 5 years of doing her aerial work and her stunts. And she also did a lot of public speaking to try to motivate people of color to go into aviation and to aspire, to reach their goals and fulfill their dreams. So she had a very short life. She was just 34 years old when she died, but she's been an inspiration to so many aviators since then.
She even, I read a story about her where I think it was in Texas. I'm not sure. I think it was in Texas where she was going to perform, all the tricks and everything. But she refused to do it because they were going to have 2 gates for people to enter. And she said, until it was segregation, I think. And she said, until you fix that, I'm not going to do it. She didn't just talk about it. She lived it, right?
That's right. I've seen accounts of that as well, where she refused to perform for segregated audiences, or if they were going to have separate entrances or seatings for African Americans and white visitors to the shows. She refused to perform, and because she was so well known and she had such a celebrity status, that was respected. Her wishes were respected. So she did a lot for the civil rights movement in the 1920s as well. She really was an inspiration to so many.
And there was a club that was started, right? African American women pilots formed the Bessie Coleman Aviators Club in 1995. And then there's even a Bessie Coleman stamp, right?
That's right. During the 1990s, the United States Postal Service created a stamp in Bessie Coleman's honor as well. And in 2000, she was actually inducted into the Texas Aviation Hall of Fame, which is housed here at the Lone Star Flight Museum. So there's more information about her life and career here as well.
Hey, Eleanor, I've got a question. I wanted to jump in real fast. Do you know, was there ever a movie made on her life? Because the story sounds somewhat familiar.
I believe that there has been talk of movies. I'm not sure that one was ever produced. I think actually during her lifetime, there were movie companies approaching her about doing a film. But I would have to do more research. On that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's certainly something Spielberg or some of those guys need to take notice of. Buy the rights to this now. Get started. Why hasn't this been made into a movie?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Incredible story.
Well, and she was born and raised in Texas, right? And
that's right. Yeah, she was actually born in Atlanta, Texas, which is in Northeast Texas, a very small town. And the family later moved during her childhood to Waxahachie, where they worked as cotton farmers. And they were a very poor family. Her parents had 13 children, and they all worked at, on a cotton farm. And so she did attend public school on and off, but she also had to do a lot of work on the family's land. And so she had a minimal education, but she, despite that, she really worked hard to make the most of her life.
She really did, and she learned flying so quick and easy. It's such a shame to think that how she died falling out of a plane, but it wasn't her fault.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Eleanor, for bringing this story to us, because this is really, not a lot of people know about this, and we should make a movie out of it. Okay.
I agree. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks, Eleanor, curator for the Lone Star Flight Museum, which features the Bessie Coleman in the Texas Aviation Hall of Fame. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, we'll have some information on the museum in our social media post after the show. All right, Tony, we've got a few announcements to make. One of them, our Black History celebration here at HCC. Well, we've still got some events people can take part of. Debra McGaughey was telling us about one yesterday, and we also have the Black History video contest coming up.
Yes. Now, the deadline for that is this Friday at 5 p.m. But you put together a video showing why you think it is important to celebrate Black History Month. And the top 10 videos will get a $100 gift card. So that's a neat incentive even in itself.
All right, Financial Aid February, that's going on right now as we make it through this month. To learn all types of financial aid available at HCC, the first step is to file a FAFSA application. Don't know how to do so? Well, we'll give you some information in our social media post where you can get a hold of financial aid before you get any grant, any loan, any scholarship. You need to fill out a FAFSA application. There are a lot of deadlines to make sure you get your money in time for classes when they start to get everything paid. So make sure you go today. Check out with our financial aid department where you are in the process. If you need funding for the summer, now's the time to do it. All right, Brave Conversations. I want to skip on down to gender-based violence. That's a topic that's being discussed by our counseling department.
Yes, it's Women's Perspectives, creating a space for brave conversations. And the topic is gender-based violence, a global crisis. It's going to be Friday, March 4th from 11 to 12:30, and it's a virtual session. So join it. We'll have information about that in our post after the show. It should be very, very interesting and enlightening.
The Black Life Studies Club is meeting. Their vision is to help maximize the overall college experience of all HCC students through sociological study and historical understanding of Black people, Black life in histories. To join, contact HCC advisor Michael Ayers, whose email will be in our post after the show, so you can contact them and learn more about that. Okay, student loan forbearance, where we're talking about financial aid, you'll also need to know about this. That ends May the 1st. HCC student loan forbearance is set to end very soon, little over a month from now. To get prepared, students are encouraged to visit HCC's website for more information and make an appointment with a financial coach. So make sure you do so. We'll have some information in our social media post. If you want to take classes and still get some credit hours in before the spring semester ends, Tony, you got to do it soon.
Yes, you have to register now. You just go to hccs.edu/apply and you can go ahead and register. We've got all kinds of classes, everything from completely virtual to completely in person and everything in between. So go and register and get the class that you want, especially the in-person classes. Those are small, so you need to register for them now.
Yeah. And as Tony mentioned, we've got 5 ways you can take classes. 2 of them are completely online. 2 of them are hybrid with some online and in-person sessions. And then if you want to just go to a campus, take your classes all in person, that's available as well. But you had mentioned some of your classes, Tony, are very small right now as opposed to before the pandemic, right?
Yes, very small, because like if it's a class like stage makeup where there's a lot of personal connection and contact, it was the cap used to be at like 12 or 13, but now it's down to 6. It's half what it was before because of the 6 foot, being
social
apart.
Distancing rules.
Yeah. So, go ahead and register now because the classes are sometimes as much as half full from what it was before.
Yeah. And another thing that's important to mention is if too many people register for a class, they'll start another class. They will, but we need to know ahead of time so they can plan this and make sure everyone gets a chance to take the class they want, the time they want, the campus they want, the instructor, all those variables, a big juggling act. Make sure you register early in order to get the classes you need. Okay, tomorrow on the show, our Vice Chancellor of Communications and Internal Affairs, Ramel Young, joins us to talk about Black History Month as we focus on our HCC leaders. And it's also, Tony, Virtual Family Fun Day.
Yes, Fort Bend County's Texas Wildlife Resource Center. That should be fun. It's always fun to see what's happening in our Texas wildlife. Texas has a lot of it. So that'll be a fun thing to see.
That's always fun. Okay, tomorrow we will be back. I'll be here. We'll be live 10 a.m. right here for Up to the Minute.